This one's gonna be a little bit different. I've been making YouTube videos on this channel for nearly 4 months now, and this is episode 8 of my PC flipping series. But today, I'm gonna be trying something new, flipping an ITX gaming PC. And I have no idea if this is gonna work or not. So for those of you who maybe aren't quite familiar with what I mean whenever I say an ITX PC, really quickly, it basically just pertains to a few parts: the case, motherboard, and power supply. There's ITX versions of all 3 of these parts, and as far as the standard goes for motherboards, there's basically 3 form factors you can buy a motherboard in: ATX, micro ATX, and then ITX, which is what I'm going to be working with today. And the difference entirely comes down to size. The second part that frequently gets the label of ITX is the case, and that is basically entirely based off of what motherboard it can fit. ITX cases can only fit ITX motherboards. Now, micro ATX cases could fit micro ATX motherboards or ITX motherboards, and likewise ATX cases could fit all 3, but an ITX form factor case is only going to support ITX motherboards, which is obviously very important for compatibility. And because of this, they're almost always usually designed to be much smaller in overall size, and some of them are even designed with like handles and stuff so you can pick them up and take them places. But the third part that pertains to an ITX PC build is usually going to be the power supply. Now, some ITX cases actually support full-size ATX power supplies, but most of them instead require an SFX power supply or an SFXL power supply. Now, there's a difference between those, but it doesn't really matter for the sake of this video. But all you really need to know about that is that the power supplies are often smaller and usually come with shorter cables to accommodate for less room inside a smaller case. There is more nuance to it than that, but that's all you really need to know for the sake of this video, so let's move on to the parts list. Anyway, why does this even matter? Why is it such a big deal that I'm flipping a computer with ITX components? Why isn't it just the same as every other build I would do? Well, the reason for that is going to be the price. Now, ITX size components, despite being physically smaller, actually usually cost significantly more than their normal sized counterparts. ITX motherboards cost more, SFX power supplies cost more, and ITX cases also usually cost more, unless you get a really budget one. So it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense in general to use one in a PC flip unless you get some good deals. For the parts list, I have got quite a few things to choose between. Now, the first decision I have to make is which case to use, and that's because I've actually got 4 ITX cases in my inventory already. The one case that I am going to use is the Lee A4H2O, or the Dan A4H2O, I don't really know what to call it. And honestly, the only reason that I picked this one is just because it's my personal favorite out of the 4 that I have. For the other parts, if you do watch my channel regularly, I'm probably about to disappoint you, but I'm going with none other than the RTX 3080. I know I use it almost every single video, but I'm pairing it with a Ryzen 5 5600, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and a 2 terabyte SSD. Also very similar to what I use almost every video, but I promise I'll be varying it up very soon, so please don't worry. But nonetheless, I do have these parts already, so I might as well use them. And I also will be benchmarking this PC at some point in this video, so if you are interested in that, then be sure to stay tuned. But that's all that I've really got to talk about here, so without further ado, here's the build footage. And here's the PC. I can actually just hold it in my hand since it's an ITX build, it's so small. Well, I'm in the BIOS right now sitting on the floor because I gotta make this thing quiet or it's running too loud. So obviously it's done now, I mean, it's right there. But I had to make some modifications. So first of all, the fans at the top here, I don't know if it's in frame very well or not, but they're RGB now. I keep hitting it too hard, it's making noise, sorry. The ones I originally had in here worked fine, and I mean the reason I was using them was just because they were free. But these were a grand total probably like $10, and I know RGB sells PCs, so I figured it's probably worth it to include RGB, and so I did end up swapping those out. On top of that, the power supply also had some sort of issue. For some reason it was overheating and triggering OTP, over temperature protection. So I went ahead and bought a new Seasonic unit. I don't know if that power supply was like bad or something because it was passing all the power supply tests on my cheap little $15 tester. And it was also running fine on open air. It was only whenever I put the side panel on here that it actually started crashing and shutting down. But yeah, point is it's done, so it's time to benchmark. And since I don't think I've showed benchmarks for this pairing of parts in probably 2 months now, I am going to do another run on video so that you can see how it performs, obviously. And also if you want to look at the temperatures to see how this little tiny air cooler is doing, then you can see that in the MSI Afterburner overlay as well. All right, so the next section here is going to be a little bit different because I'm just kind of experimenting a little bit, but I want to throw in a little price breakdown here since I'm somewhat confident that this PC is now in its final state and that I won't have to do any more upgrades or swap out any more parts of this one. So on the left here, you can see my PC part picker list scrolling through, and these are the prices I got each individual component for. But if you look at the build overall, there's a couple metrics I want to go over. So first is the build cost. And the build cost for this one, at the time of recording this, assuming no other part substitutions take place, is $800.20. Now, this is actually really low for a build of this caliber, and the main reasons for this are the free RAM, free SSD, decent deal on the 3080, and then an incredible deal on the case. If I purchased all the parts for the price which they normally go for on average, it would come out to be around $1,050. So I'm going to initially listed at $1,200, targeting around probably $1,100 is the price I'm willing to settle on when it comes to offers. We'll see what happens. I've been getting a lot less interest than usual on Facebook Marketplace. And doing the math here, subtracting the build cost from my target sale price, leaves me with an estimated profit of $299.80, which is really high actually. So that's pretty awesome if I can in fact sell it for that price, which seems very reasonable to me considering what you would actually pay buying all these parts at their normal prices right now. But let me know what you thought of this section because this is my first time doing it, and if there's anything you think I could do better, I would love to know. And I feel really bad because I feel like this kind of makes the title clickbait, like the title and the thumbnail are going to be all about like flipping an ITX gaming PC, and I'm not actually going to be selling it in the same video. Hopefully if you enjoyed this video, that would mean that you would enjoy the ones that I'll come out with in the future, because whenever it does end up selling, despite the fact that it's not going to be part of this video, it's absolutely going to be part of another video in this series, which I do. But I hope that you're not too disappointed, and in place of that, I've finally bought enough stuff to re-add the Deals of the Week section of the video. And I know it's been more than 1 week since my last upload. In fact, I don't think I've ever only went 1 week in between uploads. But Deals of the Week is basically a section which I haven't done in like 3 or something videos. So I don't even know if most of my subscribers will even know what I mean whenever I say that. Basically, it's a section which is supposed to be in every video where I go over all the deals that I got recently and all the parts that I picked up. And the reason I call it Deals of the Week, even though I don't upload every week, is just because I thought that was kind of catchy and I'm bad with coming up with names for stuff. So if you do have an idea for a better name, then, I mean, feel free to leave a comment. I'm always open to suggestions, but I probably won't change it. And I'm finally bringing it back, so I hope some of this is interesting for you. But without further ado, let's get to that. All right, so here we go. I don't know if you could even call this thing a deal. This is an 011 Vision. However, it was pretty badly bent, but in the back here, this is as good as I could get it in terms of that. And then this panel's all screwed up. This panel's all screwed up. And the bottom's a little bit warped. I got it for 20 bucks though, and I figured it's worth trying to fix at least. And if not, I could use it in like some junk system. But I'm not gonna try and sell a computer with this, of course. I would not do that. Going along with potentially broken stuff, I also grabbed this NZXT Kraken X72. Now the X72 came out quite a few years ago at this point. I don't know if it works, and it didn't come with fans, but I think this was also super cheap, so I don't really care. Going along with super cheap coolers, no idea if this works. This was untested, and this is a Thermalright Aqua Elite 240 V3, so if it works or not, I'm not too concerned, and if it does, that's actually pretty awesome. Moving on over here, I got 3 brand new Kingston NV2s. Only 2 of them are still in the packaging because the other one is in a build which I've already sold. Also from the ZTT Discord, I picked up a combo deal with this Ryzen 7 5700X right here, brand new, and 32 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance DDR4 for just $165. So if you count the RAM as free, then it would have been a little bit overpaid on the CPU. If you count the RAM as full price, the CPU would have cost like $110 or something. On eBay, I got this RTX 3060 Ti. Now it's a Dell model. I actually have been buying a lot of Dell graphics cards recently, and they're not too bad. This was on also a very, very good sale on eBay, and I got one of them. For power supplies, I got high power HP one 750 watt on eBay and a Great Wall E500. Now the HP one I bought for this 3060 Ti. I want to pair them together in a build I'm going to do either in the next episode or the one after that. Haven't decided yet. And this Great Wall E500 I won on an auction for like 15 bucks shipped, and it didn't come with PCIe or SATA cables. But next, I've actually got to move upstairs for a couple of things. So here's my closet. There's only 2 things here that I want to highlight. The first one is this Scepter C24 monitor. It's 1080p, 165 hertz. But I got it for super cheap, so I'll probably try and bundle it with a low-end build at some point here. I don't know exactly what I'll pair it with, but I'll probably find something good. Maybe even that 3060 Ti build I'm gonna do. And then over here is an 011 Air Mini. The text kind of got cut off there, but I picked this up open box as well for also super cheap. The reason it was so cheap is because it's missing the whole entire like back IO area, so I'm actually going to have to buy a replacement for that. And the only replacement I could really find online was on eBay. There are $46 vertical mount kits, which seem to cover the entire area that I'll need. So I guess I'm gonna have to pick up one of those as well. But the price that I paid to get this case plus the vertical mount kit will actually come out to be right around the same as if I had bought one of the normal like meta PC flipping cases that everyone uses. And then if I go up here just a little bit, I feel like I'll show this off. I made my own little PC building YouTuber component box collection, if you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if anyone cares, but I just thought that might be interesting to see. Anyway, that's it for deals of the week. I know I still haven't bought that much, but I actually also have some things that haven't come in yet. And among those are a couple of budget GPUs, which means that I'll actually be making some cheaper computers for once. That's assuming that they work, but we'll see. Just wanted to throw that out there because I figured some people might end up looking forward to it. But that is going to be the end of this video, and so I do hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that maybe the more unique concept compared to some of my other episodes might have been a little bit more entertaining. I'm kind of struggling for ideas on what to do at this point. I plan to start making informative content and I guess guides soon, which will hopefully be useful to any of you who are maybe looking to actually get into PC flipping yourself, but maybe don't have all the information just yet. But as far as this regular series goes, I'm kind of running out of ideas on how to make each video unique, and I'm not quite sure if just doing the same thing every video and going through the same formula each time is actually entertaining or not. So I would actually appreciate some feedback on that. But if you did enjoy it, you can click here to see more from this series. You can click here to subscribe. You don't have to, but I'm very grateful if you do. But that's honestly really all I've got for today. So thanks for watching.